When it comes to group sets, if money were no object, most of us would clearly pick Dual Race, Super Record or Red, the flagship top of the range group sets from the three big group set suppliers. They're reassuringly expensive, they use exotic materials and they're used by the pros. But when it actually comes to buying a group set, when price and value become key factors, there's one group set that stands out that many people choose: Shimano 105. Over the years, I have ridden hundreds of test bikes with Dual Race, Ultegra and 105 group sets. I know it's a tough job, etc. And one thing they all share in common is exceptional performance. They all share the same fundamental design as well. The only real difference is the materials used to keep the weight lower on Dual Race and Ultegra. But apart from weight, you're getting the same performance, the same ergonomics, all the same functionality when it comes to shifting and braking. The only difference is in weight, and that is reflected in the higher price of Dual Race and Ultegra. 105 is Shimano's third tier group set beneath Dual Race and Ultegra. This latest version, R7000, was launched in 2018 and inherits pretty much all the technology first introduced on Dual Race and Ultegra, but at a fraction of the cost. It retails for £799 for disc brake group sets I'm featuring here, but shop around and you can find it for much less, as little as £600 in some places. For comparison, Dual Race retails for £3,000 but actually costs closer to £2,000. Ultegra meanwhile retails for £1,100 but costs closer to £800. So Dual Race is clearly in another league, but the price gap between Ultegra and 105 is very close. Close enough that it might be tricky to justify the extra money. When it comes to buying a bike with 105, which is most likely for people watching this video, you're looking at bikes costing from £1,000 up to £3,000, depending on the frame material and the level of finishing kit, carbon or alloy wheels and so on. So a clear price difference and a clear difference on the scales, as you would expect too. Now for clarity, I haven't actually weighed a group set myself, but several websites report the difference between 105 and Ultegra being between 200 and 300 grams. 105 mechanical disc brake group set weighs 2,478 grams, Ultegra at 2,314 grams, while Dual Race is the lightest of the bunch at 2,076 grams. So a clear price and weight difference, but there's so much shared technology that if you remove price and remove weight, it's really hard to tell them apart. The main difference is in the materials used. So you don't get carbon fibre levers on 105 for example, and there are differences in some of the internals, so bushings instead of bearings to save money. You could argue Dual Race and Ultegra look better, but maybe if you swap the logos around, you wouldn't be saying the same thing. When it comes to your main contact point with a group set, the hoods, there's almost no difference between 105, Ultegra and Dual Race in terms of ergonomics. They share the same hood design, lever shapes, which means excellent, probably best in class ergonomics. Really easy to hold the hoods, really easy to reach your brake levers from the drops, just almost perfect ergonomics from this group set. Like Ultegra and Dual Race, you can get rim brakes or hydraulic disc brakes. These here are the hydraulic disc brakes, and the fact they've got the hydraulic gubbins and the mechanical shifting components inside such small hoods is very impressive indeed. So ergonomics is the same and the lever feel is the same. The only difference is in the quality of the materials, with Ultegra and Dual Race using carbon fibre levers, which is nice and bling, and just standard alloy levers here on 105. There's perhaps a bit more refinement in how Ultegra and Dual Race shift, a bit nicer feel perhaps, but really splitting the hairs here. For the most part, when you're shifting up and down hill, it works the same. When it comes to changing gears, you're really getting the best of Shimano's current technology. And blindfolded, you'd be hard pressed to tell the difference between this, Ultegra and Dual Race. If you really look for it, there's a slightly smoother, more refined feel higher up the group set range. But for the most part, this group set offers exceptionally good shifting performance. So up front, we have the same 4-arm alloy crank design as on Dual Race, giving massive stiffness and really good power transfer, and the new compact front mech, which increases rear tyre clearance. Shift quality at the front is flawless. It never drops a chain, never misses a beat. You can change under load as well. So front mech performance is really good, and it's easy to see why Shimano has hung on to the front mech longer than most when they got the shifting so dialed, so nailed as they have with this design. And then moving to the back of the bike, we get the same shadow design rear derailleur as Ultegra and Dura-Ace, which basically creates a more compact, low profile rear derailleur design. It's compatible with direct mount, as we see here, a new way of connecting it to the frame, which creates a stiffer interface. And then you get all the same ramps on the cassette, which ensures the chain moves smoothly across the cassette. It's such a smooth, quiet, efficient shifting group set. You can change gear under load in any situation, cross chaining. It works so well all the time and never misses a beat, ever. It's such a reliable, quiet group set. You wonder why you have to spend more really, and you don't, because you get all the performance of Ultegra and Dura-Ace. The hydraulic disc brakes on this 105 group set are excellent, with plenty of power and control. You get the same flat mount calipers, but these are painted rather than anodized on Ultegra and Dura-Ace. And the lever feel is almost the same. There is one small difference though. It's called servo wave, a technology borrowed from their mountain bike division, which creates a non-linear lever travel. Put simply, when you first pull the brake lever, the pads move much more quickly and get closer to the disc brake rotor, which gives you more control over that final phase of the pads moving in contact with the disc brake rotor. The idea is to give you more sensitivity, more refinement, more control over the brakes, which should give you a better and nicer brake feel. But when it comes to riding, and I've been riding 105 back to back with Ultegra on another test bike, it's really hard to tell the difference. If you really look for it, in some situations you can feel a bit more control, a slightly nicer lever travel, but for the most part, both brakes offer exceptional performance, loads of control and power, as I said earlier. So it's not a big separator it might be on paper. There's one small difference worth pointing out, but it's not something I'm really missing using this 105 group set. You get all the same chain set and cassette options as Ultegra above it. So 50-34, 52-36 and 53-39 on the front if you want it, and different crank arm lengths. And all the cassette options on the back up to 11-34. So plenty of options if you're racing or you're doing a Gran Fondo and you want all the help in the hills you can get. And a choice of two rear mechs, short cage and medium cage, to suit different cassette options. Is there any difference in terms of durability and long-term reliability with 105 versus Ultegra and Dura-Ace? In my experience, no. I don't think you're getting any less durability with 105 compared to the more expensive group sets. What you're really gaining from a more expensive group sets is better quality materials, which contribute to a lower weight and slightly more refined shift quality. But in terms of durability, long-term reliability, I don't think you're getting any less for your money. So there we go then. Shimano's 105 group set is arguably hard to beat. Unless you're a weight weenie, you're into your marginal gains, you must have the same as a pros ride, or you want the absolute pinnacle of technology, then 105 offers all the performance that most of us really need. It's good weight, good performance, durability, great ergonomics. It's really all the group set that anybody needs. But those are my thoughts and opinions. Now time to hand it over to you to let me know what you think of this group set down in the comment section below. But that's all for now. Thanks for watching. As ever, make sure you keep liking, subscribing and watching my videos, and I'll see you again soon.